Hi, Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Okay, let's bring in the fire zone. Black alert section of the fire zone. Welcome. Sisters and brothers, we're going to talk about Legion. Louis Eugene Grounds with NLI backwards. Brothers and sisters, we have a very serious problem that's been going on for 600 years, specifically for us, for the last 400 years. That's the demon plague. They talk about the demon plague in the Bible. In the book of Mark, they talk about it a little in detail. But you don't know what that is. And you think demons are something that is out in space somewhere, or some mysterious or some other dimension. See, because they got your head in, that's how they deceive you, by thinking that everything is in another dimension when it's right in front of your face. I mean, wouldn't that be what the devil wants you to think? That he's invisible? That he's someplace else if he's right in front of your face? I mean, if you got somebody's robbing you, that's stealing from you, wouldn't they make you think that it was someone else? I mean, they try to distract you. See? So if they don't want you to know that they're the ones that's damaging you and doing these things, they tell, well, no. You can't see the devils. You can't see devils. You know, they're in another dimension. You can't see demons. They're in another dimension. They're someplace else. You see? They're someplace else. They're beyond comprehension, beyond visible. They're right all around us. All the things that they're telling you about in the scriptures, doesn't matter Bible or Quran, they're visible. They're right in front of us. The reason why they're not visible to you, because they distract you, they deceive you to think that they're invisible, that they're so you don't know that they're ripping you off. You don't know who they are. Because I mean, that's the same thing like an undercover agent, right? He's invisible to you because you just don't know who he is. You don't recognize him. See? That's the only reason why he's invisible. So the devils are all around you. See? The demons are all around you. The jinn are all around you. The angels are all around you. They're not in some invisible place. They're here. The God is here. He's not invisible, right? Read Hebrews. Melchizedek, right? They say he's without beginning, nor end, nor father or mother. I mean, he's got to be God. If he has no beginning nor end, I mean, he's always been here, right? So no one created him because he has no birth record. But he says he's a man. They make it clear. They say a definitive statement. He's a man. Brothers and sisters, you've been so deceived. And so they pick in your pocket because they make you think that it's not us. If you're dealing with sheep and wolves in sheep clothing, when they tell you, oh man, don't pay attention to our nature, pay attention to, right, our features. You see? Because they, oh man, don't see I look like a lamb? But man, you should act different. You should act different, man. You act like a wolf. But man, what you do the divisive man? What are you, man? What are you, man? You down? Are you hating on black people? See, that's what the wolf would say. Because he don't want you to call him out. He's acting different because he is different. These demons, they love America, they love Massa because they are Massa. They're devils. They just have black skin. That's all. I mean, this is basic math, brothers and sisters, right? See, they don't want you to know that. And these people tell, oh man, he's just divisive, he's a hater. The sperm is who you are. That's how you begin. Egg is like a house that you went in and use material, right, to build yourself with. It's a living material, but it's not alive. So if you came from your father, you are what your father is. And if your father's a devil, you are a devil. Farrakhan's a devil, period. And he's deceived. He can't believe his luck. He's like a black person that's passing white that somehow got in control of KKK. He can't believe his luck. And what he's been doing, he's been sucking your blood for 40 some years, giving you a whole lot of BS. He hasn't produced anything for you. Oh, he said, oh, I've done it. He hasn't. I mean, he rebuilt the NOI. You see, if you, I was there. If this is building for NOI, that is pathetic. Because he ain't built a damn thing. He ain't built shit. I'm gonna have to say it. Because this is the rebuilt NOI. This ain't nothing compared to Elijah. Mama had nothing. It's zero. Where the planes? Where the boats? Right? Where the businesses? Right? Where the houses? See, where's all that stuff? See, and it wasn't just in Chicago; it was all over the country. And you got temples, not study groups. See, I got a list of all the temples Elijah Muhammad had. You know, when I was living in Florida, in Tampa, that's a major city. They're a little study group, maybe 10 or 20 people, and they can have their own place. They was using a kindergarten room some teacher let them use, with little kindergarten chairs. And it's in Tampa, a major city. And Tallahassee had nothing. See, they're trying to get something going. Orlando, likewise. See? So we're going to talk about Legion. See, he's trying to change it now. Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, that's his real name, Louis Eugene Grounds. He tried to say it was Louis Eugene Walcott. Well, he can change whatever he wants to, but he has turned NOI backwards. He claims he's teaching Elijah Muhammad's teaching. We're going to show you in a minute. Well, he's a big liar. We're going to prove to you, those that you able to accept proof, that he's a devil. We're going to prove it to you, and you can go out and check it for yourself. See, now, if what I'm going to show you is a lie, then he's a liar. So you can't see it. Those of you on Black Alert, on the audio, you can't see this. I'm going to read it to you. But the website is out there. I'll tell you what the website is. So you can go out there and see it yourself. Let's hold on for a minute, brothers and sisters. What happened to it? Ooh. Oh, I gotta go get it again. Okay, hold on, brothers and sisters. I gotta go get it again. What happened with that? 1 second. One second, brothers and sisters. Somebody, I hope they ain't got that. They always get in my computer. This will be a. Hold on. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Nope. Hold on, brothers and sisters. Okay. Okay, do it this way. Okay. Do it the hard way. Just give me a moment. There you go. Okay. Think I have it. Let's see if I have it. There it is. There it is. Okay, brothers and sisters, I found it. Wow. Where? Before I do that, let's see. Okay. One point. I just want to mention this here. See, swine song. That's what you got. That's what you got Sunday. The swine song. Well, no swan song. It's a swine song. And if you read Book of Mark, right, it tells you he begged when Suleiman finally caught up with him and was about to put him out of action. You know, he's please don't make me leave the country. Please don't make because they saying we're not going anywhere. If you notice, they always quoting the Abrahamic covenant, but that part about we're going back home, they always leave out. So that means they distorted the scripture. Why not say the whole thing? Because if that's wrong, then the whole thing must be wrong. I mean, we're not. We don't. This is no bullshit zone here. See, we'll be putting peanuts out of shit. You either said it's either right or it's wrong. So swine song. See, because he said, no, I'd rather stay here with my swine daddies. Think about it. So let's move on to this here. Okay, brothers and sisters. Now, you can take this for what it's worth. This interview he did. See? Now, when I show it to people, they say, prove it. And then I show them the website. The website's out there. And I'll give you the address. You can go find it yourself, right? This is an interview he did, right? So, if you don't take my word I'm just showing you an interview. So ask him about it. Now, we're not going to go through the whole thing here. Right? So we're going to go cover a couple of things here. Okay. Now I'm going to read a few things here for you, brothers and sisters. Louis Farrakhan suspects his father may have been Jewish. Right? Now this is not them reporting. He's actually did through. He's talking. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates. Remember, he's that black guy, right? In the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. So they were quoting articles in the New Yorker magazine. So you can go to the New Yorker magazine and verify this because they say, oh, this is Jewish news. No, they're reporting something they got from the New Yorker. See? Because they say, well, the Jews made this up. I don't know why they made this up. But they said they made it up. But they're reporting something that was in the New Yorker magazine. Okay? So let's see what Farrakhan has to say here. See, the games he's playing. Now, if you think being a devil and you think being led by a devil is okay, then hey, go eat some popcorn or something. Now go and wipe your butt something, because this ain't for you. But if you're about the truth, then you need to read this. Okay. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents. Now, if his father was white Portuguese, don't that make him white? If both his parents were white Portuguese, unless you adopted, that makes him white Portuguese too, doesn't it? But watch this. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, I'm going to tell you something you really want to know what I think. I think they were members of the Jewish community. So he says, not only was his father's parents Caucasian, Portuguese, but they were Jews too. Does that make him a devil? And a Jew. But this is rich, right? He added, I believe that in my blood. This is him talking, and not in a bad way, because when I was a little boy, I used to love listening to Jewish cantors in Boston. This is Farrakhan talking. They had a program every week. I would listen. I was struck by the cantor. I always loved the way they sing and recite the Torah. This is Farrakhan talking. Gates
Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable.
So it was Gates is saying, my research probably backs up what you're saying, right?
Given that nearly all the people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry.
So what it says is, because if you go to Jamaica and those places, you got a lot of people there that's from Portugal. Because not only was Spanish, there's Portuguese. That's where like Argentina stuff. That was, I think, Brazil too, right? Those were settled by Portuguese, right? So I don't think they even call them Hispanic, right? Because they were settled by Portuguese, and they don't speak Spanish; they speak Portuguese. Argentina, I know they speak Portuguese. I'm not sure about Brazil. So,
Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, right? Now that's his mother, May Clark, but her name was May Clark. I'm not sure about that Mark Clark part because
I forgot her actual name, but her last name was Grounds. That was her maiden name,
right? From Barbados, right? He was named Gene, right? Louis Eugene, right? Eugene, well, he says Eugene. They say here Gene, after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica.
You see. Now, let's unpack this.
He's saying his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair, but it just says father's parents was white, Portuguese, Jewish. So, see, you got to be careful here because his talk about, see, in other words, if you might say you're American, but that don't make you, right, but you still be black or you be Italian or whatever. That's his nationality, not his ethnicity. His ethnicity isn't that nationality. It's just because he lives in Jamaica. So he said, well, I'm Jamaican. Like, you can a black person say, I'm American. I mean, I wouldn't say it, but, they say, but that's their nationality. The Italian person says, I'm Italian. But that's their nationality. Their ethnicity is Italian, not American. You understand? The only people who can say ethnicity is American, actually, is American Indians. They wouldn't say it because they don't call America America. But you get the picture. See? Okay. So, a straight-haired man from Jamaica, but he says his mother was raped by this person. That's his thing. Now he may have changed it now, but he says his mother was raped by this person, and she tried to abort him 3 times. And this Walcott guy was his stepfather, and she was not married to him at the time Farrakhan was born, so she could not have gotten his last name because he called himself Louis Eugene Walcott. But he should have had his mother's maiden name because he wasn't married to Walcott at the time that when Farrakhan was born. And he had been raped by this guy called Percival Clark. See, so that's why this Clark thing here is kind of be wrong, because his father's name, his two fathers, the devil, right? His name was Percival Clark, and I show a picture of that. I'll show it to you again, right? I'm pretty sure. I'll check it out. I'm pretty sure it was Percival Clark. I could be wrong. I'm gonna show it in a minute, but. So you put the picture together. I'm not going to read this whole thing. From Jamaica, right? And it says his father was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. You understand? In other words, he's a philanderer. You know what that means, right? You see. But anyway, he was a devil because his father's mother and father was. He said his father was Portuguese. White Portuguese, probably Jewish. That makes him the devil because you are what your father is. Now, if you don't want the truth, you don't want no science, you don't know mathematics, all you want is Farrakhan because you're an idolater. Because idolaters don't care what the idols say. They only care about the appearance of the idols. That means all the people are idolaters because they don't pay attention to what Farrakhan says. They pay attention to what he looks like. Or he looks like he's so beautiful, all this kind of hand, right? But like they say, Son of Man would have nappy hair. It says in Ancient of Days, but does he have nappy hair? And we got a picture of him. So I'm not going to read any more of that. So you can find, I'm going to show you the link, right? But here, so I'm just going to close this. Here, right? See if I can make this any bigger. Yeah. See, if you read, I don't know if you can see this now, but that's his father. He looks just like his father. He's a devil. See? And his name, Percival Clark. So they got the May wrong. They call him May Clark. No, Percival Clark. See? Did I get rid of that? See? Oh, no, I got it right there. Okay. You understand? So he got that a little mixed up. But his father, that's his father right there. See? The one that raped his mother, he looks like him. See? He's a devil. And then here it is right here, right? You know, he loves devils, don't he? See? Because he says, Master Muhammad said they're all devils. The Bible says all of them are wicked. He says none of them, not one is righteous, not one, not even one. See? And when Abraham had that conversation with God, he said, will you save Sodom and Gomorrah? And he said, I couldn't find anybody. He said, if you save 100, no. Well, what if there are only 10 righteous? He said he couldn't find any. So he destroyed the whole place, not one. But they're gonna tell, oh no, this one, he's not. See, because he's a demon. He loves devils. He don't want to leave America. Read Mark. He doesn't want to leave America. He wants to stay here with swine daddies, and his whole job is to keep you down. See, his whole job is to deceive you and keep you down, and that's what he's been doing. He's not teaching Elijah Muhammad's teachings, and just the fact that if you go and read that statement, if you believe that, then how in the hell are you going to tell me a devil can be your Messiah? How can you tell me, Pop, with a straight face, that a devil can be your Messiah? Because he's a devil. He's a devil, pure and simple. But they call it a devil if you got a black face, then they call you a demon. They just say but you're a devil. You're a black-faced devil. So in that case, you call you a demon. That still makes you a devil. He's a devil, and you're following the devil. You're following the son of a devil. And they know this stuff is hurting them. It's hurting them real hard. See, because they're trying to respond. Well, no, his real father is Walcott. See, because this stuff is hurting them because the truth is coming out. And it says Suleiman would consume him with the spirit of his mouth and destroy him with the brightness of his coming. He's going to be destroyed in a few more days. I'm talking this year, not next year, whatever. He's going to be wiped out. Him and all his demons going to be wiped out. See, so you don't want the truth about him. Because like I said, if you're idol worshiper, idols don't care. Idol worshippers, idolaters don't worry about what the statue's saying, the idol's saying. They don't care about what he's saying. They don't care if he say something or not. They care about his appearance. He's smiling, right? He seems, see? But he's the evil. And what did it say Aaron did? When Aaron got busted, right? Did Aaron take the weight for being busted? When he got busted for having people worship golden calf and all that kind of stuff, did he take the weight for that? Did he take responsibility for that? Did he? See? Hold on there. Did he take responsibility for that? What did he say? What did the Calvinists say? Oh man, it's their fault. Because they're sinful. And he always telling you sinful, we so sinful. We so sinful. See? He's always accusing us. That's what the devils do. Because it ain't the fault, and it's not the fault of the manufacturer. It's the fault of the product. Because first of all, our people are not sinful. See? In fact, our people are the most sinless people on the planet. Because we obeying the will of God. God said submit to Adam. So we submitted. And it says, if you understand the angel, it says, blessed are those who keep their garments. Say wickedness, say red necklace not be seen. If you got to understand the angel, know that. Because the fact is, all the other nations broke free of America. See, the colonization, they broke free of Europe control. Right? The African nations broke free of colonization. Right? They've been breaking free since like the 60s. But the only one still dominated is us. So since we're under their control, under their law, no sin is attributed to us. No sin is attributed to us because we're under their control, and so therefore our sin is on them. Because we're told to obey them, so our sin is on them, not on us. See? But if we stay here, we have the opportunity to leave, see? Because right now they're trying to put it in the sense, because now, it's after the arrival of Elijah Muhammad, and he's setting the stage for you to leave, and you refuse to leave, then your sin come back on your own. So it redounds back to you. because they're trying to put you in, and they're trying to self-impose energy deprivation. That means they're trying the energy that you should be using to develop yourself to prepare to get out of here. You blowing it. You're playing with Jay-Z and Beyonce and all this BS and TV and video game, all that kind of stuff. Instead, that's why you suffer from diabetes, because you're not using it to maintain your health and to develop yourself, develop your mind, develop your body. You're wasting it on all this bullshit because they distract you. Oh man, you should do this. Man, you should hang out. Man, let's party. Let's get this smoke. Let's vapor, or whatever you're doing. You see, so you're doing that to yourself. Because you don't have to. They're not making you do that. So in that sense, right? They tricking you into going against yourself, and that's sin. They're tricking you into it. See, because Farrakhan, he's the main one. Because he's telling you. See how they trick you into that. Because if they make you think that this is the only game in town, America, he's distracting you from you. See, no, he's taking you from what the spirit of what Elijah Muhammad taught, the spirit of Master Muhammad taught, the spirit of Abrahamic covenant. That we will spend 400 years here, and then we'll go home. It said return back home, and that's what it says. But they read the Abrahamic covenant. All they do is read the first part of it. They don't read the whole thing. And the Quran tells you people do that, they'll curse it. He don't read the whole thing. He says, oh man, we're going to be here 400 years. He reads that part. But when he gets to the part where we're going to return home, he doesn't read that part. And in fact, he goes further. He said, we ain't going nowhere. Well, then what the hell we suffer for? You see, that means we suffer for nothing. And that means God is a liar because he says we're going to return home. Master Muhammad is a liar because Master Muhammad said we will not. Master Muhammad said we will not return until we have a thorough knowledge of self. Return in 6 states. Elijah Muhammad says our country's going to be burned up. So why would we want to take some land in a country that's going to be burned up, which Farrakhan claims to represent? He doesn't represent any of that stuff. He's the biggest liar on the planet. He does not represent Elijah Muhammad. And I'm a living witness. I was with Elijah Muhammad for 4 years, from 70 to 75 till he departed. Well, that's 5 years. Was no, see, he parted at the beginning of 75, so that's 4 years. See, I wasn't just there, I was there. You understand? And I was there when they tore the nation down. They talking about the government. The government had nothing to do with it. Farrakhan and Wallace tore it down. Wallace was officially out. He shouldn't have even been in there. They only let him come back in to even come anywhere near the nation because his father had passed, so they was trying to be sympathetic to him. See? And somehow all of a sudden he took over the whole thing when Farrakhan was supposed to be the senior person. And Wallace was out for teaching the same thing that he came back teaching. Elijah Muhammad banned him for teaching the same thing Farrakhan's teaching right now. That's Sunniism and stuff. That I was there because Wallace, he would come in and he would say, oh, I believe in Master Muhammad and all that stuff. And then before you know it, he's back up there teaching about Sunniism and all that kind of stuff. And finally his father had enough because he had put him out several times. He used to go in the Chicago public defender and put all kinds of vile stuff about his father. His father was this, all that kind of stuff. That's what he would do. Everybody knew what Wallace was going to do. Even Farrakhan admitted, I think it's Sunday, he admitted that everybody knew what Wallace was going to do. So why in the hell they put the man in charge when he was officially out on time? They knew exactly what he was going to do. He didn't surprise them. They knew exactly what he was going to do. Because he said he didn't believe in any of that stuff. And we got interviews where he's saying that, and Farrakhan agreeing with him. He said he told him, well, he never deviated. They say how they lie. He deviated. He says he deviated. He turned away from the message. And I was there when he was bad-mouthing the message and everything else. And one of the reasons why he ran and hid, because you still had some FYI balls, right, that was looking for him to terminate his ass. Because they had enough of it. Because he's a coward, he's a liar. See, he tells you, oh man, they tore it down. And he says, Elijah Muhammad's eternal leader of the nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad never said anything like that. He never attributed that to himself. They said to build themselves up. You understand? He hasn't rebuilt anything. If you're trying to tell me he rebuilt the nation of Islam, what nation of Islam did he rebuild? Not the one I knew about. He's a liar. Elijah Muhammad said he would be his worst hypocrite. And we have the videos to say it. Elijah Muhammad said we'd be fools to stay here in the land of our imprisonment, but Farrakhan said we're not going anywhere. So how the hell does he represent Elijah Muhammad on most fundamental points like that? Elijah Muhammad said they're devils, they're all devils, every one of them, and they have to all be wiped out. That's what Master Muhammad said. But he says no, he says they're not even devils anymore. And he claims that Elijah Muhammad told him not to call them devils anymore. It's a lie, because Elijah Muhammad used the term all the way up to the time he left. if you go watch the theology of time, he still used the term. He never said any such thing. And anything, use your brain if you got one, right? Why would he tell FARRAKHAN that? And then I tell the rest of the ministers. So all other ministers would call them devils, but FARRAKHAN can't. And FARRAKHAN still used the term, right? Even after he so-called came back, and then he suddenly stopped using it. Or they can't call them devils anymore. See, watch, with a COINTEL program. See, it's on his site. If you can't get it, contact us. We'll present it to you. He has even on the site what they said, what they expected to happen after Elijah Muhammad left. What they expected to happen, or they was going to destroy, they was going to wipe out the Nation of Islam altogether. If these things didn't, if the things that the points that the FBI wanted didn't take place, and one of the points was to stop this stuff about separation. See, in other words, we're leaving here. Stop talking like that. Stop nation building. Stop that. There's no nation building. Stop race hatred. Now we don't call them devils no more. See, and then just have it be a self-improvement program. He's not what Farrakhan says. He's doing self-improvement, Sunniism, and Scientology. Read it for yourself. I think they're called COINTEL. Read it he gave everything they wanted. So we know who this is. We know who he is. See, anybody that got a brain knows who he is. But if you're an idolater or you're a demon, look, we're not talking to demons, right? We're not talking to demons. See, because you have no choice. We don't want you. We don't want you in any circumstances. If you're a devil, we don't want you. I don't care what you've done. You remember the thing about Nicodemus? You see, you got this Bible got a lot of tricky stuff. Nicodemus, he's a demon, and he met with Jesus secretly, right? And he said, I obey the law. I don't do any sin, anything. And Jesus said, I don't care. I don't care. You're not getting into my kingdom. And Nicodemus said, wait a minute. He said, the only way you can get in my kingdom, you'll be born again. That means you can't come in. You got to be an original person. I'm not accepting any demons. Nicodemus. See, brothers and sisters, the scriptures are clear. Elijah Muhammad said it would be so clear in a fool when I err. If you err, then you got to be something more than a fool. The scriptures are clear. It's a clear day, but you got four glasses on that Farrakhan's put on you and these preachers have put on you, because they're all demons, and that's their purpose. That's the main reason for demons. See, because the devils, they was wise enough to know, right, that they couldn't directly, because remember, they was a minority in the world. The Europeans were a minority in the world 500 years ago. They was trapped up in Europe for 1,000 years. Read chapter 20. That's European history. They're trying to deceive you. That's going to be in the future. That's European history. They was locked up in the pit by resurrected people who was the Muhammad Empire, who rose up the same time the Europeans was thrown into the pit for 1,000 years. They called it the Dark Ages. And it was locked down there for 1,000 years. And then it came out for 1,000 years. That's European history. And then it would cover the whole earth. Gog and Magog, and deceive the whole world. That's European history. And so they would go out to steal, kill, and destroy. That's exactly what they did. They stole people's land, they killed off the inhabitants, and they destroyed us as a people. See, that's their history. You understand? So, again, he's trying to tell you, oh no, right? Because he's a demon. But see, what they did is they knew that like I said, they're minority. There was a minority in the world then. See, they're still a minority in the world now. You see? So what they did is they knew they need some help. They need if you have a small army, you need some insurgency to go confuse and distract. And what's the other word I want to use? Distract and confuse. Another word I want to use I can't think of right now. Right? Your enemy. So what they did is they went out and started raping the women. They did it purposely. They wasn't doing it just because they was wanting to rape. They were doing it purposely because they wanted to put their seed and get their seed the complexion of the people they was trying to take over. They wanted to give their seed complexion of the people that they wanted to rule, because they know their seed would have the hearts would be towards them. Their seed would think just like them. See, you just look at South America. South America's almost all white, right? They're very light skinned, but there was dark skinned people as dark as me when they came over here. So how did they get so light so fast? See, even American, so-called American Indians, they're much lighter than they were, right? When they were dark skinned people too. They didn't have nappy hair, but they dark skinned people too. You see, and it's a matter of actual state record in Australia. They had an actual program. They was going to breed out the Australians from the Australians. I'm talking about the Aborigines. They had an actual program to do that. So they're going, and in Guam, they succeeded because they killed all the male children, all the male children, all of them, and then they impregnated women. So now you see, when you go to Guam, what you see in dark-skinned Spanish people. This is what they did all over the planet for 600 years. So they had demons run all over the planet, running wild, and unrestrained because nobody knew who they were. Nobody even knew there was demon plague going on. See, because demons was something nobody ever taught them. So they was all over. They planted demons. That's why they talk about they sowed chaff amongst the wheat. And nobody could. They said you don't try to separate them because nobody could separate them until Suleiman or Joshua or Jesus came, because he's the only one who could recognize them and get rid of them. So they had free reign for almost 500 years. You better get on board with that, brothers and sisters, because that's the point. Is you might be sleeping with one, they're all around you. You think you're friends or whatever. You understand? And they're demons. They're devils in black skin. But some of you don't care because you love you love the devils anyway. See, that's those Negro butts. See, they've been programmed to love their enemy more than themselves. They hate their own people and to love the enemy. And that's what they do, because they've been programmed. Negro butts. See, they programmed us for 64 years. For 64 years, they programmed. We came in 55, so 64 years to complete the programming to the first Negro butt came off the assembly line. See, with Masters brand names, made in America, right? Joe Wilson, right? Jimmy Washington. See, Jack Jefferson. You see, those brand names, made in America, because they weren't names. They weren't your names, because if you went and traded from one master to another, then you got to name a new master. So if you was Jimmy Pick'em over here, and they traded you to Scotty Jackass, then your name became whatever your first name, Jim Jackass. So your name was a brand, and those you walked around with those names right now proudly, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like somebody pour shit on you, you say, "Well, I'm not gonna wash it off," right? Because there's like shit all over the place, and all that doesn't. What that means is, all it does is what it does, it tells who your last slave master was. If you walk around with your name is Bill Richardson, then that means slave master Richardson was the last owner of your family before you were so-called freed. That's what it means. It doesn't mean your real name. And you walk around proudly, "Man, my name is James Richardson." You're a fool. You're a fool. Because that wasn't your name. That you carrying the name of the people that oppressed you, beat you, rape your mom, rape you too, sodomize you and everything else, and you proudly walk around wearing their name. That's why nobody in the world has any respect for you. See, first of all, you don't own your own house. You're homeless. Black folks, you're homeless. This ain't your home. You don't own a plantation. You're homeless. You're gonna control your own house. Yeah, but you want to control your woman. See, you don't control your woman. See, Master does. He controls you. He controls your children. He controls your women. Right? He come in and butt break, and he might as well, because that's why I call you boy. Because what you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? Because you're in Master's house. You don't tell nobody a damn thing. You have no say whatsoever. None. Zero. And you're judged by people that you don't even know from every other country. You go to court and somebody from Japan is the judge. He don't know you. Don't give a damn about you. And you go and see, it's the demons that's pushing this. And there's a lot of Negro butts, right, that's still going along with it because they're still programmed. And Elijah Muhammad deprogrammed a lot, tens of thousands of them. And then Farrakhan came along and reprogrammed them again. See? And so it's Suleiman's job to deprogram them all. And that's why you're going to get help from Master Prophet Muhammad, because he's going to paralyze your heart in a couple more days. See, but then we get to your mind. Because when the heart gets paralyzed, then it listens to the mind. Then what to do. See, because your heart gets paralyzed with fear. Your heart can't tell you how to get out of it. Your heart, when you're under extreme fear, then that's when you start listening to your mind. See, to get out of it. See, so he's going to put severe fear in you. See, when this abomination of desolation takes place in a place that it should not be, in the Middle East, when false Israel is taken down, what you've been told by the preacher, that cannot happen because of identity theft. You think that they're true seed of Abraham, and they're not. Because if they are, they can't be removed. When they go down, that's going to put shock waves through the whole planet, and fear. It says that great fear came upon all the whole earth. See, and then your heart's going to be paralyzed. See, and then just like a deer standing in the headlights, it's standing there because the heart is paralyzed. See. And it's looking for the brain to say, do something. And the brain don't know what to do, so just stay there and get run over. So your heart's about to be paralyzed. We're going to break. So your covenant with death will be destroyed. That's what it said. Because you got a covenant with death. No, we're not going to let that happen. See? Because first of all, a promise was made to you, and we're going to keep it. See? A promise was made to you that if you endure this 400 years, and you go through it, right? Then you got a reward coming to you. See, but we're not going to force it on you. But we're going to break your covenant with death, because you got a covenant with death right now. Because with Farrakhan, these people telling you we ain't going nowhere. So if you think you're not going anywhere, then you're going to buy into this world's life. You're going to buy into America. So therefore now you're sinning, because that's the nature of America. Homosexuality, fornication, drunkenness, theft, and everything else. I mean, how they got this country? Genocide, murder. That's the nature of these people. That's not your nature. But they're trying to make you unacceptable to the God, trying to turn you into something that God is not going to approve. And trying to make you hate sell out your agreement, because God honors agreements. So if you go out there and take reparations, that means you said, I'm going to take that. In other words, my reward is the promised land. But you say, oh, hell with that, I'm going to take this instead. Well, then God's going to honor that. That's your agreement. If you say, I try to give you an analogy, you don't want me paying on this Benz. You didn't pay for it years. You've been paying down. Finally, you finally paid off. And then you go to get it and you run into Farrakhan. He's a chief salesman. Oh, man, you sure you want that Benz, man? It's going to be a lot expensive, man. It's going to be insurance cost. You got to get a garage, man. You sure you can afford that, man? If any repairs, man, it's going to cost you a lot of money. There's a lot of high maintenance. And you got to top gas and all that stuff, man. You want that? See, why don't you take a look at this BMW over here, man? It's Class C, right? See, sophisticated, top of line. See, it's less expensive, and you don't have to do that much care. You see, and still, it's still what they call it. People, still going to admire it. You see, a status symbol, and then you go for it. And then you get home and everybody telling you, man, you a fool, man. You done paid for that Benz, and now you set up. You let somebody talk you into getting a BMW, man. And your wife on your ass about it, and everybody's telling you on it. Then you realize, oh man, you finally realize, hey, man, that was stupid. And then you run back, right? And they say, well, oh man, you agreed. I ain't giving you this Benz. Then you go to court, and the judge say, well, hell, you agreed to get the hell out of here, man. But you made that agreement. You're adult, right? You see what I'm saying? So the guy says, wait a minute, we came over here to punish the people that did this to you, but you accept this as payment. See, when you go in and you turn something, a civil suit, a criminal suit into a civil suit, okay, I agree that I will not press charges if you give me a certain amount of money. So it's a criminal thing, but you turn it to a civil thing, you see? So now you took the money, so now you can't press charges anymore. They got away with it because you accept money for that. So if we accept see, that's a trick. If you see, the problem is that this is a thing that hurts them. See, it's one little thing that's getting them. See, and they came close. They came within inches of achieving it, because in order to annul the Abraham covenant, they have to have 100% participation. They have to have 100% agreement that we're going to take reparations. You see, because if only 90% agree but 10% don't, then a lot of guys still have to honor that 10%, because they still holding on to the covenant. They haven't abrogated their covenant. See, that's not a democracy there. They have to have 100%. And under FARRAKHAN, that was the goal, to get 100% compliance. They came within that close. Because after Elijah Muhammad left, you don't hear nobody talking about the Abraham covenant. Everybody's talking about reparations. Everybody's talking about, separate states. Either separate states or staying here. Either way, it's good for them, but everybody wants reparations. You see what I'm saying? And they came within that close. But then Suleiman came on sideline. And he said, no, because I'm not going to accept it. As long as I ain't going to accept it, they may have to kill me then. You see? Because if I'm the only one to accept it, then they still going to be punished for what they did. You see what I'm saying? Because that's part of the covenant. They got to be punished for what they did. So if they got one person that don't sell out, they still got to be punished for what they did. And I'm not going to sell out. I'm saving your ass. I'm suffering all this stuff. I'm the one truly doing the suffering, but I'm not crying about it, because I'm the one holding it up. Because they have to have 100% compliance. Because they have to, if it's only one person that stands up, they still got to punish this nation for what they did to all of us. That's why they got the 100% compliance, and they came within that close to doing it. But then Suleiman came up with the angel, and now they've tried to take me out several times already. I can show you the proof. I got the pictures. I'll show you a picture of a car that they said they don't know how I walked away from that. The thing is damn near a pancake. See, that's the game. If they call it a game, see, this is not a game with us. But she don't understand what's going on. And then once they see the thing, once you went along with that, and they paid you off, then they free and clear, because they said, tell God, well, we paid them, they accepted payment. So now they accept the payment for everything we did to them and everything, then they're off the hook. God has nothing to say, because he's just. I mean, you chose that over that. And you said you accept reparations payment for everything he did to you. That's an agreement, and God honors agreements. He honors all agreements. That's what they're trying to do. But they can't do it as long as they got somebody that says, no, but see, that's why you don't hear nothing about Abraham covenant. They told Martin Luther King, do not, see, because they supposed to drown the whole idea about us returning home. And what was Martin Luther King's last speech? About the promised land and going back home. He said he don't know if he'd get there with us, right? But he said, just look over at the mountaintop and he saw it, and he was dead the next day. They told him not to do it. You hear no preachers talking about it anymore, no one. So why not? They talk about Abraham covenant. They don't talk about that part, about going home. And most of them ain't talk about it at all. Because every black person I ever met, church or no church, never heard Abraham covenant. You see, that was the whole thing. That's a conspiracy. You understand? See, and then once they paid you off, then they was going to finish you off. You said, oh man, now we're going to give everybody $1 million. Just say, for instance, there's 34 million black people in America. Half of them are Jews. I mean, half of them are demons, half of them are original people. I'm not going into details about that. But if we relentless rape and everything, there's a half of black folks in America are really demons. They slave master children. But anyway, say they gave the whole, because they gave that, everybody would take the $1 million. But demons, they probably want to go into 6 states. They probably just want to stay here with daddy. But just say, for instance, they went. It doesn't matter. They went not. But the point, everybody got $1 million. See? And then once they did it and we were separated, then they tell all the white folks in the country, right, put your money in precious metals. See, once you put some metals, it's not affected by inflation and all that kind of stuff. Put it in precious metal, gold and silver and diamonds and stuff like that, right? Then once it's there, then they start printing money like you wouldn't imagine. Like you, they drive inflation so high that a loaf of bread would cost $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. You think it's not happened? In Germany, that's probably what started World War II, because it got so bad that loaf of bread would cost $1 billion marks. $1 billion was about worth a quarter. They was carrying money in wheelbarrows. See, and it got so bad they had to pay the people 3 times a day, because when you went to work in the morning, right? By noon, I'm thinking maybe twice a day, maybe three. Anyway, just say 2 times a day. By noon, see, say you went and at breakfast when you start work, right? Say a loaf of bread costs a million marks. By noon, it might cost 2 million marks. So they wanted to pay before that, understand? Because they knew the price. So they went. So you could use the money before it was less than what it was. Stuff like that. That's what sparked World War II. See, because Germany was a basket case, inflation was out of control, and that's what they would do here. So otherwise, your $1 million after a while would be worthless. Because if a loaf of bread costs $100,000, you buy 10 loaves of bread, you broke. So now you got no money. See, you're landlocked, because if they gave you 6 days, sure wouldn't give you California. They give you a landlocked place, you have no communicate with anybody else. And then the other thing is, your topsoil is almost that thin in America now. You need to understand about topsoil, because you need topsoil to grow, and they've already used up all the topsoil. So they don't give you lands that got topsoil. Most of the countries, most of the states don't have too much anyway. See, so now you begging to come back to Massa, because you have nothing. You broke. And do you see Farrakhan, if he claiming that's what he's gonna get for you? Do you see him going out here preparing for that? Building hospitals, building schools to train you in electronics and engineering and architecture and in medicine. Does he train you in any of that stuff? In science? No, because he knows that's bullshit. You see? But he is talking about reparations. He ain't bullshit on that one. Yeah, he down for reparations. Because he know once you get reparations, then that takes America off the hook. I mean, God ain't gonna take because the only reason he's doing it is because of you. He's taking America down because of you. But now you done sold out your birthright. You remember the whole thing about Esau in the Bible? He sold out his birthright, and God honored it. Remember, Esau was the oldest. It was his birthright, but he sold out to Jacob, right? See, to Yaakov, he sold out for a bowl of soup. And so then it said God, he hated Esau and loved Jacob because he honored the damn contract, even though it was rightful. It was right there. So you better read those stories again. So you're going to incur God's hatred because you took and you pissed off. You pissed on him. You say, I don't care. I don't want, you rejected him. I don't want you. I don't want your paradise. I don't want your promise. I'm going with devils. I'm going with them. So then you incur God's hatred, and so therefore He ain't gonna do nothing for you anymore. So when you start praying for Him, you're gonna get any help because you already sold out your help. You don't understand these things, brothers and sisters. These are the plans they working to get you. Remember, you in the Bible, you get these people doing all these different things, and you can't understand them. But when you study, you feel like they understand how God works and how His nature works, how things work, and they just like Jacob knew. He knew if he could trick Esau, right? That then God would be on his side and against Esau when God was on Esau's side to begin with. See? Esau didn't know what's going on. Next thing they know, he's hated. And Jacob done run away with all this stuff. See, all he got was a bowl of soup out of it. And that's what they're trying to do with you. So now you're broke and you're begging America to come back. And you come back if they set you back at all. But they don't want you back. You broke. They got everything right. You're broke. You can't grow anything. You're starving over there. They closed the border. God is not going to attack them anymore. So now they guards off their back. They ain't worry about plagues and all that kind of stuff anymore. And just close the border and let you starve to death over there. That's the end of you. Because what they want you back over here for? They don't need you. They don't need you. What they want you back here for? Why would they allow you back in here? They closed the border. Okay, y'all won. Y'all got y'all states and everything now. And then white folks go back and have to, after your money's blown, it's no good no more. Then white folks transfer their money back into dollars again. Everybody's cool, and you out there dead, laying on your ass with buzzers for, watching buzzards, and buzzers watching you. And you don't see this. You think this wouldn't happen? They did it to the Indians. They did everybody else. And you think they wouldn't do it to you? You got to solve their problem. And nobody in the world would say anything. Nobody in the world would say anything because you did to yourself. What are they going to say? Oh, man, what are they going to say? You don't want one of the 6 states. You don't. They said, man, well, they gave you 6 states, and they gave everybody $1 million. Then what the hell they want? What else they gonna do with black folk? Nobody don't say nothing. Why you starving to death over there? We say, well, the hell, That means they're lazy. How come they can't? They got their own country now, and they, and they can't, and that's their fault. You see what I'm saying? So they can wash their hands, wipe their hands clean. They gave you everything you wanted, right? See, and now you dying over there, and they just let you die, and nobody in the world's gonna say a damn thing, because they gave you all this. Man, I wish they gave me $1 million, gave my own land, and you can't see it. Is that too difficult for you to understand that they would do that? Why would they want you back over here? Why? They don't owe you anything now. Why would they want you back over here? They close the door and that's the end of you. See? But you can't see how far down because you see these demons, they got this four glasses on you and you believe buying all that BS they telling you. So you buy all that BS they telling you. You see? And you walk into a trap. It says you walk into a trap. It says, let us deal shrewdly with them. Let us deal shrewdly with them. That means you're going to do it in a way that you wouldn't see it. And they want to wipe you out. Said the first thing they will try abortion. So the next thing that didn't work, they try to throw you into the river. I'm not going to go into that today, but that's the war coming up, and they're going to get millions of you going over that damn war. Because remember, this war they have, this war, now I'm talking about this war with Russia. This is bullshit. This is a rumor. This is a war, rumors of war. This is not the war that Farrakhan put his feet deep in his ass because, see, he made this one prophecy, he made more detail than anything else. This war going to spread, and it's going to turn into Armageddon, and then they will come and arrest him. Why would they want to arrest him, man? Somebody want to be handling his piss bag and shit bag, all kind of thing. Why would they want to do all that? Hey, what are you going to do? They just leave him out in the street. What are you going to do? Right? They're going to arrest him and crucify him, and he going up beyond all this kind of BS. That's bullshit. None of that's going to happen. You see? None of that's going to happen. But that's what they're trying to tell you. See? No, it's not going to happen that way. Brothers and sisters, you need to wake up. See? But you're going to wake up, like I said, because your heart's going to, your heart's about to be paralyzed with fear. And then you're going to pay attention to stuff I've been telling you. See, I know you're not listening. I know you're not going to act on it now because it says Suleiman will be planting seeds. See? And the seeds will break ground at a time when you need it. And then when this stuff ain't making sense to you right now, but like I said, the deer, when your heart's frozen and paralyzed, then it looks at your mind, and then your mind trying to figure out, but if you have no information, then your mind's paralyzed too. You got to know what to do. And that's why I'm putting this information out there, because when time comes and you heard it, you're talking that crazy old man with that crazy hat right now, but then you're going to remember and then you're going to know what to do. See? So I had to put information out there, because that's what it says. He's putting information out there. He says like a son of man's like sent someone planting seeds for the right season. Because you're not paying attention now. I'm not worried about that. I've been doing this for 30 years. Virtually alone. Except for the last couple of years. Well, I mean, I had people during the time come and go. Right? Because I'm planting seeds. So you have this information when you need it. And pretty soon I'm going to have a bigger megaphone where it's going to be universal. They tell you what you need to do, because this time I'm pressing in trouble and you're going to need to know what to do. And Farrakhan, he told his so-called swan song. Did he tell you what you need to do? He told you it was going to be a war, but he tell you how you're going to deal with it? Did he tell you what you should do? He didn't tell you anything, because he don't know anything. He's a demon, he's a devil, period. The scriptures tell you that. See? Just read, if you just follow Exodus, the light switches everywhere. Exodus, God will come, then it'll be Elijah, and then it'll be, he tell you, oh, the God appointed him. Read, brother and sister, can you read? Read yourself. God got angry at Moses, told him, you don't need Aaron, you don't need Farrakhan. He said he got angry with him, you don't need it, because he said it was Moses that insisted that he have a spokesman. And remember, the only attribute Aaron had was a spokesman, that's all. He had an attribute being smart and intelligent. He was just supposed to speak like a megaphone, whatever Elijah Muhammad told him to speak. But he's gone beyond that. See? So he told him, and he got out and said, you don't need him. He said, no, so he gave it to him. But Farrakhan trying to say, well, that the God said, yeah, he anointed him. That's bullshit. He resisted. He didn't want it. But he relented when Elijah Muhammad insisted. See? And then what Aaron did, for 40-some years, he led the people through the wilderness, right? And Sunnism, Scientology, he deceived all the people. At the end, right? When Joshua returned to his camp at a time of war, read it carefully. When Elijah and Joshua came back to Elijah, Farrakhan was in charge. They came to his camp. He said there was a sound of war, but neither a sound of victory nor defeat. That means the war is going on. When they returned to camp, and what they did, they separated all the Farrakhan's followers out, and they just wiped them all out. They cut all their throats, kill all of them. This is the scripture. Now he tells you all the scriptures up to that point, and scriptures after that point. But the scripture during that point, they dismissed that. Why would we dismiss it? So, or they said, well, try a minute. Wallace was Aaron. See, because he's Aaron. Of course he would take and try to dismiss it. Just like the wolves in sheep clothing. Oh man, don't pay attention to nature. Pay attention to our appearance. Brothers and sisters, you are going to pay a heavy price. It says, my people are lost for lack of knowledge. Those of you that refuse, right, to stand up and acknowledge this, because everything I tell you, I'm not making up anything. Anything I tell you, can go and check for yourself. So if you refuse, then you pay the price. Because it says only the ones to be delivered. Who's the only one that will be delivered? In the Lamb's Book of Life, those only ones. So does Farrakhan have a book of life? Does Silas have a book of life? Does the preacher have a book? They don't even know where it is. And to have a book of life, you had to break the 7 seals. Now, who has broken the 7 seals? I'm the only one to even make that claim. And I can prove it. See, so I had a book. So you can talk all that crap you want to, but if your name ain't in it, and your name, only way your name's gonna be it, you have to stand up. If your name is not in it, right, then you have to go to a tribulation. And brothers and sisters, that is something that you don't want to do. You think it's an easy thing right now? It will not be. Cannibalism will be ranging far and wide. There's not gonna be any food. The weather's gonna be totally crazy. You can have no electricity. You're not gonna have any water. You're not gonna have any heat or anything. You can have any of that stuff. And it's gonna be near a year of that hell. See, unprecedented hell. See, and it's really like a mercy, because those that wasn't taken out, right, by Michael or Farad, then that's their last chance, because they purify themselves. That's what I said, they would purify themselves at the time, but they have to go through hell, damnation to do it. It's like putting it back in the fire. You got the gold in there, right? And you check it. And that's this impure, you take it out. That's in the cast impurity, you got to stick it back in for a while. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Farrakhan is no damn good. It tells you in Malachi everything it tells you about him. It said the son of perdition, right? See, he said he wouldn't come into, he'd be exposed only after the falling away, after Elijah Muhammad left. Then he would be revealed. See, he would deceive the people 40-some years. That's what Farrakhan. You can take that one. Okay, you take other ones, right? What about I said Aaron, right? We're talking about the son of perdition, right? We can talk about Peter a little bit. That's a little more complicated. I don't know if I go into that one or not, right? See? But you can go into Malachi. It says, read Malachi carefully. They try to talk about Malachi today. Okay. Malachi says, first of all, it says, I will send a messenger, he would prepare a way before me. Now, Elijah was preparing the way for Master Prophet Muhammad, because Master Prophet Muhammad prepared the way for him. You got to put this thing right. You got to understand these scriptures, they sealed. And it says the messenger of the covenant will suddenly come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant, that means he be preaching the covenant. Is Farrakhan preaching the covenant? No. Does anyone preaching the covenant? No. The only one preaching the covenant is myself. I've been preaching for 30 years. He would suddenly come to his temple. And that's exactly, the thing is, Elijah Muhammad, I wasn't recruited by the Nation of Islam. I wasn't recruited by any follower. That's a fact. See, I was in Vietnam, a sergeant in Vietnam. I was heavily into the Bible. I've always been helped, because I've been virtually orphan, because my mother was gone after I was 9, and father was gone after I was 5 years later when I was 14. So I was on my own. And I was living in Newark on my own. And the food roles I had, they didn't treat me right. They wasn't any good, right? And so I sold my future, and I got the hell out of there. I went to the military, right? So I ended up so long story short, right? Like I said, and I knew I was intelligent enough to know at 14 years old, that I didn't have any guidance, and I didn't know a damn thing. I was one of the dumbest kids in the world because my father never taught me anything. I mean, he was sick all the time after mother left, right? And so, no, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. I knew I didn't know anything. I was smart enough to know I didn't know anything. So I pick up the Bible. I said, well, I'm going to use that as my guidance. Anyway, so I'm reading it, right? So I'm in Vietnam and I got to Malachi, right? And I saw it. I said, I realized we're in the end time. This person must exist here. I didn't know anything about the Nation of Islam. Now, I had been in the temple before my father passed away, but I didn't know what it was because we used to live a block away from Temple 25 on Fairmont Avenue in Newark, a block away. And I thought it was a church. I used to pass all the time. I didn't know what it was. And my father took me in there. And my aunt told me after he passed, right, when she saw I got my ex, oh, that was your father was doing. So I didn't know he was converting. So I don't know how far he got in the process. I know things changed after he took me in there. But he took me in there. And the only thing I remember is that the ministry was like, he had a big gap in his teeth. He was a young brother. And he said, Wolf Armageddon would take place in the 70s. Right? Now, this was like about 62, 61, 62, somewhere around here. Maybe I think around 62. I remember saying that because Elijah Muhammad used to teach Wolf Armageddon was taking place in the 70s. See? Okay. So anyway, so at that time, and I'm gonna shorten this, right? At that time, like I was a sergeant in Vietnam, right? And I had read that, and now see, I was planning my future, right? So I was gonna come back with my college education because I was always studying. That's why I wanted my education, right? That was gonna be paid for, right? They had a program where you could pay for a Porsche, right? And it was discounted rate, and they take so much money to check, right? And I've been doing that for I don't know how many years, right? Because I've been in Vietnam twice. So I was paying on that, right? And the GI Bill, getting a house myself. So I was gonna come back to Newark. In those days, man, I was come back hard, man. I mean, I was coming back hard, boy. I mean, look, I'm here, 20 years old, man, black, intelligent, right? Going to college, got my college paid for, got some money in my pocket, man. Got me a Porsche, man. I was gonna get all the ladies, man. I was coming back hard. You understand? That was what I was thinking, right? So I read that. I said, this person must be alive then. You know what I did? I took a vacation because, R&R, you couldn't take it back to the States, but you could take it to Hawaii. Or you could take it to Australia, any place there, but you couldn't take it to the States because, you're in combat zone. But they would let you take it to Hawaii. I took one to Hawaii, and so I got to Hawaii, I got me another plane back to the States, and I was looking for Elijah. And this is the truth. Everything I say is the truth anyway, but I would have to emphasize that one. And I was looking for him. First, I went to the Black Panthers. I thought he might be there because I knew about the Black Panthers. I didn't know about Ali. I didn't know about Martin Luther. I didn't know about Martin Luther King, actually, right? But I heard he got killed or something. I didn't really know who he was. I didn't know anything about Malcolm. I didn't know about none of that stuff. Because when they had me in Germany, they had me locked up in it was like a NATO site way up in the mountains. That was on top of a mountain, isolated, right? And at that time, people my age anyway wasn't paying too much attention to news and anything. So I didn't know anything about any of that stuff, right? So I went to, but I did hear about the Black Panthers. So I went over there. I went to California, and Fillmore District. I had a hotel room in the Fillmore District, right? And I think they was in Oakland. I think Seal was in what's his name? The one that started Bobby. No, not Seal. I can't remember his name. And Huey Newton. I think he was in prison, I believe, at the time, right? But Bobby Seale, I think he was running. Him and David Hilliard. So I went over there because I went looking, but they told me I had to wait. So 2 or 3 days they finally let me go see him. So I go over there, right? And I'm talking to them, and I'm still looking for Elijah, right? And they threw me up against the fence. They was out there barbecue cooking pork, and I didn't stop eating pork because I told you I was following the Bible. What it said do, I did. They put pork. Man, you must be one of those agents or whatever. I ain't saying nothing, right? They hit me in the backyard, right? I ain't saying nothing. You must be one of the agents. So, and all this is I think David Hilliard. I think he was like he was top general or whatever. And Bobby Seale was sitting on the steps, on the back steps, getting high, smoking reefer, right? So after they see I respond, I'm just frozen, right? And then Bobby Seale said, hey man, brother, look man, we got a lot of infiltrators and all that kind of stuff, right? Infiltrators and all that kind of stuff. And we're trying to check everybody out, right? So I said, what you do is you take some of these Black Panther papers and you start selling. We check you out, and after a while we bring you on in. I said, yeah, brother, that sounds about right, right? I got out the alleyway and they never see me no more, right? So then I left and came back to New Jersey. And I'm talking to this brother that he was from California. Because I mean, we had this one. I'm the first brother I met from California. He moved in from California before I went to the army. So I knew him. I talked to him. We wasn't really had friends, but I knew him. And I ran to him. I was telling him about what I was doing. He said, "Man, you sound like one of the Muslims." And I always heard that when I was in the army. People asked me if I was Muslim. I didn't know what a Muslim was. I had no idea. You know, because I was always fighting white people and all that kind of stuff, right? I had no patience with them. And everybody said, "You must be one of the Muslims." I said, "Oh, I don't know." So he said, "Man," I said, "Who are these Muslims?" Everybody keep asking me, tell me I must be one of the Muslims. So he told me, he said, "Go down there." So tell me where to go. So I 25. I said, "Man, I've been there before." And when I got there, I said, "Man, I live around the corner." So I got there. I must have been an off day because when I went there, I knocked on the door and the brother came out. And see, I knew most of those brothers that was in there because I grew up with them. Because remember, this was my neighborhood. I lived a block away from it. And the brother came and said, "Hey, man." I said, "Can I come?" "No, you can't come in." I said, "Why?" Man, I had bought me the dynamite dashiki. Just remember, during this time, that was the thing. I hit my fro. It was like, bam, man. It was later. I got my fro right. Cause I don't know what to expect, right? I got me some patent leather shoes, man, and some what they call it, belt bottom pants. Man, I was I was gonna be Afro ready, right? And he said, "No, you can't." He said, "You can't come in." I said, "Why?" And plus, then he said, "You can't come and look like that anyway." I said, "What's wrong with the way I look?" Then I got pissed off. So he told me, "You can come in on I think it was a Friday. I must have came in on Thursday or something because I didn't know, they had Wednesday and Friday. I didn't know what their hours were. So I said, "I'm getting in here, man. I got to see what this is all about. I'm here been years and years and years. Now I'm still looking for Elijah, but I ain't know Elijah had anything to do with this thing." I went and got my hair done. I went and bought me a nice suit, man. It was like a expensive suit, right? And now I didn't have any patent leather shoes. I got the patent leather shoe and I got that backwards. When I got my suit, I had patent leather shoes, right? And I had my suit, man. I had my hair cut down and everything, right? So I showed up that Friday, brother. "What happened to you?" "What happened to you?" I said, "Brother, I want to get in here." So I get in and I'm sitting down and the first thing came out of the brother's mouth, "God's a man." And it was like a wave flew right through me. Because I always believed that. I always tell people, "Man, you crazy, God." I mean, I'm reading the Bible. It says in Melchizedek, he says, if you read Hebrews 7, it tells you that. And when he said that, because everybody thought I was crazy, and I just say it. And I said, I'm in the right place. I felt like I was home. Now, I forgot about Elijah at that point. I just was home. So then I started processing, right? And it didn't occur to me right now that there was Elijah had anything to do with this. Somehow, it didn't occur. And during the process, I started becoming aware that there was Elijah that was running this whole thing. And that really, man, whoa, that kind of blew me away. So this was August. So August 21st, 1970, I got my X. And the brother told me nobody's ever got X as fast as I did. Because I was serious. He said nobody ever got X. And when Minister James Shabazz was running. So I told him, I says, "Where's this Elijah at?" So he told me Chicago. I said, "I'm going to Chicago." He said, "You can't go, you have to travel there." I said, "Wait a minute, what you mean I can't go, man? It's a free country, right?" So anyway, he kept trying to talk me out of it, but he couldn't. So that's why I ended up in Chicago, 1970, and September 1970, I ended up in Chicago, and I stayed there all the way until 1983, but I was all up to the messenger. Right? So nobody pulled me in, nobody fished me in. I went looking for Elijah and I found him. You see. And I broke the 7 seals. See. And my age is the exact same age as false Israel, right? Because they're the Antichrist. And it says the Christ, that we call Antichrist, because they would come into existence at the same time. Because it says when the Christ came into existence, when he conceived, there would be a star would rise in the east. That means he would be in the west. Remember, he's in the west amongst the beasts. See, this is the beast over here. And the star would rise in the east. The star rose in 1948, false Israel, and he was conceived in 1948. So you're going to take these things or whatever, but I'm just putting you some information because I don't expect you to act on it, and I'm not definitely looking for followers. People tell you, I don't want no followers. I'm looking for gods. I'm trying to raise gods. I don't want no followers. So I ain't ask you to come over because you don't know how to find me anyway. And you can't send me a dime because you don't know how to. And I don't want you to. I don't want your money. I don't want you to follow me. I'm just trying to give you the truth. And if you accept it, I'll teach you more so you can spread the truth. But I don't want anything from you. I'm here to give you. See, they're FARRAKHAN and they're parasites. They take from you, they give nothing back. I came to give to you. So if you get angry with me because I'm trying to give to you, then that's your problem. Because I ain't taking a damn thing from you, nothing. I'm not making no demands of you. The people that are working for me, I don't make the demands of them. You know what I'm saying? I just tell them, if you're going to stand with this, then you got to do it right. But I don't make any demands. So, brother, I'm going to sell something, leave it there. See? Because this war is about to take place. This is the real war. See? Michael and his angels are going to go to war with the devil and his angels, the dragon and his angels. That's what's happening. And that's the real war. And that's going to take place. And that's the war that's going to trigger Armageddon. Because America and Britain and false Israel, America and Britain is going to be kicked out. False Israel is going to go into siege and taken down. And when they take it down, that's going to prove they're not true. See, Abraham's going to send shockwaves all through the world. And it's going to put you and everybody else in fear. See? Because that's when they say flee. And I'm not going into all the details about that, brothers and sisters. Right? See? And then that's going to trigger Armageddon. Then the Europeans will go fighting each other. And by fighting each other, they're going to destroy each other, and they're going to leave China, India, the world powers are going to take them out. That's your future. Now, that's the future. That is the future. Now, what part you're going to play in that future is up to you. And you're going to have the box office seats, right? Where you're going to get out of here when Farrakhan takes out of here, or you're going to have the cheap seats, or you're going to stay in for the tribulation. That's totally up to you. Nobody's going to make you do it. Nobody's going to drag you on that plane. Nobody's going to force you, right? That's totally up to you. So if you want to stay here with tribulation, it's up to you. See? It's no skin on my back. I'm just here to tell you. I love you, brothers and sisters. That's what I'm doing. I've been doing it for 30 years. I give everything, family, everything to get this information. I've been doing it faithfully for 30 years. Over 30 years, since 1990. I haven't stopped. And I got tons of presentations out there on YouTube, on this channel and several other channels. And I got all kinds of stuff. I have a website. I got all kinds of things. A lot of people don't even know because I don't tell everybody. Because everybody go crazy on me. They don't know how. They can't. They can't tear everything up. So a lot of things are happening, brothers and sisters. Getting this information to you. Faithful warner, and everything I said to you can back up and check out and prove. See, and Farrakhan, he's obviously the suit doesn't fit him. Right? The suit of the Son of Man, that's Suleiman, that's where that comes from. That doesn't fit him. He doesn't, he's the Christ, the anointed. No, the only suit that fits him is Son of Perdition, the lion Aaron, the coward Aaron, the one disemboweled, because it says, let me leave you with this. I was talking about Malachi, right? Malachi says, you got the messenger, you got the messenger of the covenant who's going to come to this temple. That's why I diverted from, and I was went over to say how I found Elijah Muhammad didn't come get me. Because he said he would suddenly come to this temple. And that's what happened. Suddenly come to this temple, the messenger of the covenant. Right? And then you got this other person. Said, if a man robbed God, now who could possibly be robbing God? Because I ain't taking any money from this nation. Only person been robbing this God is that person you see right behind me. He's been robbing me for 40-some years. He's been taking and giving nothing back. He's robbing this nation of Islam, he's got rich and filthy rich and everything else. And he hasn't produced a damn thing. And so he said he would be cursed with a curse because he's robbing. And isn't that what happened? He got cursed with disembowelment. Now ask any man on the planet, right? What is worse? Being electrocuted, being crucified, or being disemboweled? Do you know what disemboweled is? Your balls cut off, your insides cut out, you're pissing and shit in the bag, your love life is totally gone. If you ask me, turn up the voltage, bring out the nails. See? So that's the curse he's cursed with. And no, God is never chastised. So that's not a chastisement. A curse is different. A chastisement is something you can recover from. You can't recover from that. That's a curse. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So as far as you audio brothers and sisters, right? Excuse me, brothers and sisters, of the Black Alert, right? The Black Alert segment of Fire Zone. Fire Zone out. And as far as you video brothers and sisters, I think I covered everything. This war is going to break out any day now. See? And it's up to Master Prophet Muhammad. There's nothing that I know that I've been studying the scriptures for over 30 some years. I mean, since I broke the seals. And there's nothing I see that's predicted between now and when Master Prophet goes to war. So there's no event to look for that's, years before. Like, this had happened, this happened. But I don't see anything in between now and then. That means it can happen any time. And they tell you they can be at war at any time. But it's because the war in the Middle East is going to break out first. And they tell you, false Israel say they're going to attack Iran, especially if they agree on this JCOP, they're definitely going to attack them right away. Because they already allocated money for it, and all they're doing practically do it. And that's the war that's going to trigger Armageddon. So don't be fretting and excited by, oh man, Putin's going to do this and Russia. No, it's not going to be a nuclear war. And it's not going to be a nuclear war anyway. Master Muhammad said he came to destroy those who destroy them. He's not going to allow a nuclear war. They tell you what these UFOs are for. He says they prove, they say they exist. And they say every time they look at them, they're over what you call it, nuclear sites and everything, nuclear weapon sites, to neutralize them. He says they go over and then all of a sudden the weapons don't work. He's not going to allow a nuclear war. But America will be nuked itself, but he's not going to allow a nuclear war. How are you going to go to paradise and the whole place is radiated? He's not going to allow it. You see, because he's going to destroy those who would destroy the earth. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.